And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If at any time during this net should any emergency arise, please notify Net Control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to handle most all of the problems, so it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 2,800 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting, a 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. And you have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically. And in addition, we're running our new number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, which is loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also in the selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today, on the transmit side, we'll be running our NOSWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA-5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
The border. Charlie, got a copy?
And apparently Charlie's not with us this afternoon for whatever reason. We hope to have you back with us either later today or maybe next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, and we'll get down to it. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
This is KK4PQU.
KK4PQU, and what's the name there?
For PQU, and what's the name there?
The name here is Willard. Just wanted to wave a hand and say hello to you. Sounding great today.
Roger, Willard. Whereabouts are you, sir?
Roger, Willard. Whereabouts are you, sir?
I'm in Lexington, Kentucky.
I just moved over to my Lexington transmitter. Let me hear what you sound like on the Lexington SDR.
Transmitter. Let me hear what you sound like on the Lexington SDR.
Hello, Jim. This is KK4PQU. Should be sounding pretty good on it.
Oh, yes, sir. Wall to wall, and just ballistically, just perfect there. Do you? What radio are you running today?
Just perfect there. What radio are you running today?
I'm running the FTDX10. I had you help me set it up a little bit last week. I just wanted to say hello to you and thank you again.
Yes, sir. Now, what have you been working? You've been working DX or local, or what you been doing with that radio?
Working DX or local, or what you been doing with that radio?
Usually just joining in on the nets here on 40 meters. Worked off states nets normally.
Roger. Now, have you worked the Kentucky phone net?
Roger. Roger, Roger. Now, have you worked the Kentucky phone net?
I'm not aware of that net yet, no.
Yes, it's a morning net. Well, I think they maybe have an evening net too. It's a morning net. It's on, I think it's 3711 or 30. There used to be 3710, I think, but really interesting net. A lot of nice people on that net. Roger, Roger.
Really interesting net. A lot of nice people on that net. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Now to think of it, I do recall that net. I'll have to go down there and check it out. Someone else was telling me about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I used to run that, not run that net, but I used to be involved as far as one of the check-ins there. And really, that was one of my first contacts, Roger.
Check-ins there. Really, that was one of my first contacts, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Very cool. I will definitely check it out. I usually like to hang around here on 40 meters because I'm lazy and don't like to tune my amplifier up.
Yes, sir. I know what you mean there. I used to always run up on 10 meters, but gosh, that's such a tune-up from here. It's been quite a while since I've run 10 meters, Roger.
From here, it's been quite a while since I've run 10 meters, Roger.
Roger, Roger. I haven't run it too much this year, but I heard the propagation's been really good for DX on it.
Roger. Well, when I really worked it about, 6 years ago or so, every day I would go to open up on 10 meters, and there would be this guy out in California that would be on the frequency, and he'd be giving me 20 over every time. I mean, it just never failed. He was there, and we would talk for 10 or 15 minutes every day. Roger?
We'd talk for 10 or 15 minutes every day. Roger?
Roger, Roger. It truly is a great band. I don't even know if my amplifier has 10 meters in it. It has the auxiliary switch, so I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to convert it over.
Roger. Now, I used a 10-meter full-wave loop antenna. It was kind of headed east or west, whichever way you looked. It didn't make much difference. It was seemed to be as hot off one side as off the other. But yeah, and it just did a beautiful job, Roger.
Yeah, and it just did a beautiful job, Roger.
Roger, Roger. I'm running it started out as a G5RV, and then I decided to clip the SO239 off and run the ladder line directly into my tuner, so now it's just a 102-foot dipole.
Roger, and you're coming in 300 ohms, Roger?
Roger, and you're coming in 300 ohms, Roger?
Yes, QSL.
Roger. Now, how do you do that without breaking a hole through windows and things?
Without breaking a hole through windows and things.
Well, I have my window. It's a wooden window, so I just shut the window down over the ladder line and run the ladder line into my antenna tuner, and it seems to do really good. I don't get into anybody's TV or internet or anything, so had real good luck with it. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, all different kinds of antennas. My favorite, and the one that I promote for most efficient, is the resonant tuned dipole antenna, and that way you don't need to use a tuner with it because there is no, you are directly, that antenna is tuned and you just run right to it and fire to the wire. In the beginning I was running a tuner. I'm still running a tuner, but I'm bypassing it, but I'm using the metering system on the antenna tuner as it is, but I was running, in the beginning I was trying to run 40 meters with an 80-meter antenna, and that's pretty hard, and I was noticing a lot of heat coming off the the antenna tuner, and that's a 3kW antenna tuner. And I looked at it, opened it up and looked at it, and man, those solder joints were gray. They had been really, under some heat, Roger.
Gray. They had been really, under some heat, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. That makes me want to take the cover off my tuner. It's a MFJ 989D. I guess it has a ballon in it for the ladder line, but yeah, I need to probably take my cover off and check some solder joints, because I normally run legal limit. That's usually what I always run. Unless propagation's good, then I don't need it, but most nights I do.
Yeah, Roger. Mine's an MFJ 3kW. I can't really see the model number, but it's a big thing. But boy, there was a lot of heat coming off, and I was thinking, gee, if I just got that heat up into my antenna, I must be doing a whole lot. I would be doing a whole lot better getting that heat up into the antenna, as opposed to having my antenna tuner with it, Roger.
As opposed to having my antenna tuner with it, Roger.
Roger. Sure is a lot of wasted power there. I agree with you. I'm actually working on building me a resident 40-meter dipole for the 7.185 frequency. That's normally the one I'm on. And a lot of people told me it's a waste of time to do, but I'm considering it. I think, like you said, it's best without an antenna tuner if you can.
Yes, sir. And remember, your tune dipole is directive in that you have, if you look at your radiation pattern coming off a dipole antenna, if your dipole runs east and west, your radiation will be north and south. So if you know where you're going, string your dipole in the opposite direction or perpendicular to the target, so your radiation pattern is right at the target, and you'll probably increase, or should increase, quite a few decibels, as opposed to it being off the end of your dipole, Roger.
As opposed to it being off the end of your dipole, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Well, I don't want to tie your net up too long there, Jim. I just wanted to say thank you for helping me set up and everything, and I think I'm going to get in here and eat some leftovers from yesterday. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes, and a beautiful breakfast this morning. Sometimes the breakfast after is better than the dinner before, if you know what I mean. 73 there, Willard, and thanks for dropping by. FTDX10 is sounding just beautiful. We'll catch you later. It's 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Yeah, hi, Jim. I'm sorry I'm a little bit on the late side. I've got something I'd like to work with you for a few minutes, if it's possible. A1GZL.
Absolutely, Charlie. Absolutely. Good to hear you, buddy.
Absolutely, Charlie. Absolutely. Good to hear you, buddy.
Okay, let me tune up a second first. Here, I don't know what happened, but the time got away from me. Stand by, I just got to tune up a little bit.
Yes, sir. Well, let's see. Let me sing Old Dixie or something here. Oh, boy, you never know. Charlie's really just beautiful on that. We use a SDR up there most of the time, and Charlie's just like 40 over, so it's just like a telephone line every morning. And he's tuning up now to join us here. And he's got a surprise. We wonder what it is. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. And I wonder if Charlie's tuned up now.
Qso-Vlog net. And I wonder if Charlie's tuned up now.
Yeah, I'm tuned up. What I'd like to discuss with you, if possible, my cassette is not working. It is not working, so I can't play back anything. However, what I would like to do is talk about life and the purpose and why we're here, and well, a little bit of reincarnation all put in there, if you don't mind. But if you'd rather not, I will not. But if so, I would like to pass that on. Maybe some of your listeners might be interested in why, the reason we're here, and what life is all about. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sounds like could be an interesting subject there. My idea is that we do the best we can without interfering with other people and hurting other people, and do what we can to further our mankind, in ham radio and otherwise. But it's like if you can't say something good about somebody, and probably shouldn't say any much at all. Rather, go ahead, Charlie.
And probably shouldn't say any much at all, rather. Go ahead, Charlie.
Okay, are you getting me all right on Milford? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think any more and you'd be burning their antenna up, Roger.
Yes, sir. I think any more and you'd be burning their antenna up, Roger.
Okay, well, here's the situation. Now, let me tell you how I got into this. My dad, in 1950, this is K1GZL, George Zebra, London, transmitting. My dad was secretary of Dianetics, Dianetics in 1950. And his boss was Lafayette Ron Hubbard, and I knew Lafayette Ron Hubbard myself, LRF, and in fact he even had lasagna my mother had made in Elizabeth, New Jersey. He was a slightly baldish and reddish haired at the time. However, what had happened, let me explain this. What had happened is that in Dianetics, before it changed over to Scientology and got a little bit messed up by other foreign entities, we might say other governments, they explored and found out that a lot of man's problems are the result of what that happened previously, and in this case, it turns out to be that we live many, many lives. Now, 1.5 billion people, Jim, in this world or more believe in reincarnation. The Christian church and the churches believed in it until 51 AD, 51 AD, and then the church felt a little bit threatened, so they banned it, and after that period of 51 AD, they taught just heaven or hell, period, and that was it. Now, the situation, as I see it, and I've experienced in my own life, my own life, is that we live many times. We live many different times. We are all one. And nobody is better than anybody else to start with. Now, what happens is that each life that we live, at the conclusion of that life, we might say. We are met by our elders. I'm not going to answer that phone. By our elders or spirit guides. We all have a spirit guide, and then eventually you'll meet your elders or 12 people, and they will show you your Akashic record. Akashic record. That is the permanent record of your soul. The permanent record of your soul. And you review your life. You review your life very thoroughly. Did you gain or did you not gain? In other words, we're all into the school of life. But we're given free will. We are given free will. And this free will, Jim, is what determines what happens to you. In other words, if in a previous life you were, say, in the Roman period, and you were in the Colosseum in Rome, and you enjoyed watching blood being shed and people being murdered on the field down below, you yourself, with your action, your own free will on enjoying that, you yourself will suffer. It's called karma. K-A-R-M-A. It's karma, Jim. By the way, this is K1GZL for identification here. I'll try to make this as brief as possible. So then after we review our lives, we then visit the friends and those we had so-called lost previously on passing away. Our soul is not the physical body. We borrow the physical body. We are given the physical body because we have lessons to learn. We have lessons to learn in life. And what happens is when we come back, and there are many things going on in between lives. Energy fields. You study energy because the universe is all full of energy, not only on this dimension in which we live on, or this frequency we live on, but we live on this frequency of life. And a lot of these people that are in energy fields on classes, spiritual classes on the other side, a lot of them come back as your doctors, come back to as doctors and whatnot. But there are many things that must be made up. So as I got into the karma situation, now when it comes to a time of eventually, with enough trips to Earth and lessons in Earth, if you have advanced enough, you don't have to come back. You don't have to come back to Earth. You are on the other side. And you can help in the energy. And don't forget, there are billions of planets out there that are forming. There are billions and billions of the star systems, most of which do have planets around them. And also there are many dimensions of which we don't see. We don't see, but we're all a part of the universal whole. We're all a part of the universal whole. Now, getting back to the universal whole, say, for instance, it's time for you to return to Earth. You go to your recognition class. Your recognition class, where your soulmate might be with you. Your soulmate could be the same gender in another life, or not. Or maybe your very best friend that you have, and you review how you're going to meet each other. There will be a lot of coincidence which happen, and you'll notice that at nights when we all dream, we have like a floating experience. That's a little bit gets you into the idea of what it's like on the other side. Okay, Jim, I could go a little further on this, but I'll try to keep this short. This is K1GZL, George Zebra, London, Clarksville, northern New Hampshire, where it's cold in the low 20s right now. About 2 inches of snow on the ground, but that's getting off the subject. But anyway, we will come back to Earth, and coming back to Earth, you may not be very big at all, maybe the size of a grain of sand, but anyway, you're small, and you'll float around the area where conception may take place, and you may become join in with the fetus that you will have to occupy maybe around the around the second trimester or so, third, and so as a spirit, then you slowly occupy the new body you will occupy, and of course you have been given amnesia. You forget the life. Of course, you don't remember your spiritual side whatsoever. You're starting afresh. You're given new opportunities. What you do with your free will, with the new opportunities that are given you, is up to you. And thus is the school of life. KC9VKV. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't talk your head off. K1GZL.
Well, Charlie, I just have a couple of observations now. Your outlook on life, is pretty nice. Now, another look of life might be at the end of the life. You're in some box somewhere, in a leaky box with 6 foot of sand over you, and there you stay. That's one perception. And gosh, I like your idea a lot better, being able to come back and be given a second chance. That sounds better to me than, like I say, sitting in some leaky box with 6 foot of dirt over you. But, I think that while a person has the chance to live their life on this earth, if they, manage to have control over their life, then they should, do all they can to help their fellow man at the time they're alive, because, I'm not really sure exactly what's at the end of life. It may differ quite a bit from, what do they say, your plan may differ from ours. When in TV commercials, your outcome may be different from mine. I don't know, but I think that the idea is that you do the best you can the first time through, and hopefully you avoid having to be retreaded back and forth over and over. Roger.
Be retreaded back and forth over and over. Roger.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is, have we learned our lessons? Have we learned our lessons? Say you have done so-so, you could have done better, but you've done so-so, and you pass away. The next thing you know, you're out of your physical body, and quite often you can see everything around you, but you're not in the physical body, and then you're met by your spirit guide, who, maybe the first thing you see is a great hill full of wonderful flowers or whatever, and then you might meet a few of the people that you had seen previously, but it's all a part of the learning process. Did you gain or did you not gain? But you're given your free will to make your own decisions on if you have gained or not, Jim. But the thing is that life is continuum. It is a continuum. When you stop and think of the like just on our frequency itself, our stage of life, and not talking about other dimensions right now. I'm just talking about what we are now seeing. You take, there are millions and maybe billions of galaxies, and if a lot of these galaxies have 100 billion stars, most of which have revolving planets. We're not the only grain of sand on the beach. Oh, no. We have a lot to learn, and we can join in this creative process. We are given the opportunity. We are just borrowing our physical bodies here. We're just borrowing our physical bodies. What we do to other people comes back to us. The universe is love and compassion. Without love and compassion, you seal your own karma. You seal the own situation that you end up in. So that is the ruffiness of it, Jim. But to me, life is fantastic. It's wonderful. We're all a part of it. And the more we join in with it, and the better the whole thing is. KC9VKV, K1GZL. We are all one on the school of life.
Roger, Charlie. Well, you know, when I pass along and I'm somewhere else, up or down, I'm not real sure, I'll be looking for my spiritual Elmer. As I have a ham Elmer, I'll be looking for my spiritual Elmer, Roger.
A ham Elmer, I'll be looking for my spiritual Elmer, Roger.
Absolutely, and everybody has one. Everybody has a spiritual guide, Elmer, whoever you want to call him. We do. So, only problem that we are seeing now in the world, I feel so sorry for them because a lot of them are building up one heck of a lot of karma. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. To be continued, Charlie. Really interesting conversation, and we'll get onto that maybe next week or so. Roger.
We'll get onto that maybe next week or so. Roger.
Okay. Well, look, I'll hang up. I'll sign off at the present time, and I'm sorry I'm 20 minutes late or so, 15 minutes late. Oh, boy, I'm sorry about that. I goofed up there. Okay, Jim, well, look, thank you very much for having the patience, but I just felt in my heart that this is something that, there are billions of people, at least 1.5 billion that I know of, that do have the similar beliefs in there, and you look around, even for instance, let me tell you one thing more. If somebody has lost a child prematurely or whatever, that soul is not lost. No, sir, that soul is not lost. But there may be a karmic reason that person had to go through that grief due to previous situations, possibly in other lives. But that same spirit could come back as another child, but the same one. So nothing is lost, including your pets. Your pets aren't lost. Oh no. If you have a pet you have loved all of your life, and the pet loved you, they are in certain other areas, and you may meet again. Please all reincarnate, including animals. Nothing is lost, Jim. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think I hear Destiny calling in the background, Charlie. Let me say 73 to you, sir. Always a pleasure. And, gosh, I hope you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and join us next Friday. Roger, Roger?
And join us next Friday. Roger, Roger?
Okay, Jim, thank you very much, but that's just my idea. I see this around me. I see it in everything that is going on, and if I can help one person, that's all I need. Okay, 73, Jim. God bless you down there, and I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And KC9VKV, K1GZL. Been a pleasure always.
Roger, Roger, Charlie, 73 up there, sounding just beautiful. You have a great weekend coming up. And just a reminder, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, better known in some circles as Dr. VKV, and we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page on YouTube, where we're currently featuring over 2,800 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This recording will be cut number 1 in that series. So without further ado, let's open it up and see who's out there. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
About 5 stations, strongest station, come back.
About 5 stations, strongest station, come back.
I heard 5 people in there.
I heard 5 people in there.
No, I'm kidding about the strongest station. Let's see. I did, but I couldn't pull anybody out specifically.
I did, but I couldn't pull anybody out specifically. Kilo Quebec 4, Kilo Delta X-ray.
Kilo Delta X-ray. Kilo Delta X-ray. Give me your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Give me your call sign slowly, phonetically. Kilo Quebec 4, Kilo Delta X-ray.
Alrighty, and what's the name there?
Alrighty, and what's the name there? Joe?
That's Joe, is that a Roger?
That's Joe, is that a Roger? Roger, Roger.
Alrighty, Joe, and where are you located, sir?
Alrighty, Joe, and where are you located, sir? Grapevine, North Carolina.
Roger, Roger, and what radio are you running today, Joe?
Roger, Roger, and what radio are you running today, Joe? I got an Elecraft KX3, and I'm pushing it with a 100 amp MLA 100.
Roger, Joe. Okay, why don't you give me about 10 seconds, tell me about your antenna, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path, Roger?
And let me look around and see if I can find a better path, Roger? Roger, Roger. Yeah, I got my license back in and kind of got this set up with a 10 to 80 meter half-wave in-fed dipole, and just playing around, just trying to tweak it in and get it as good as I can get it.
Yes, sir, Joe. Well, gosh, on my local antenna, you're about 20 over, so I do have just a perfect copy. Now, is that a desk mic or a hand mic?
It's a Howl mic with a headset.
Okay. The thing is, I'm catching some plosives and some mouth noises. So what I want you to do is take that boom mic and pull it out as far in front of you as you can get, and then at the last minute make that 90-degree turn. So I want you to take that boom mic and just try to get it out in front of you as far as you can, and then at the last minute make that 90. Roger?
Roger, roger.
Okay, sounds better now. What I want you to do is, we're kind of doing this thing in the back. Do you have a compressor processor on that radio?
I've got a mic setting.
Okay. You do not have a compressor or processor as such?
Be the same?
I'm sorry. I think you're getting maybe a little bit of RF in your AF. It sounds just a little bit distorted, Roger.
Roger, roger. Let me see here. Is this any better?
Still there. Tell you what, why don't you go to your ALC, where you can see your ALC, say the word audio with mic gain in hand, and set your ALC meter to 7 or 2/3, whichever comes first.
Is that any better?
Yeah, now, let's see. Why don't you give me something and tell me about what you like best about your radio, Joe?
Well, I like it because it seems to be easy to use. I don't understand everything on it yet. Still doing a lot of learning about it, but it seems to set up well and set up fast. I've done a soda with it already, and it seems to work pretty good.
Okay, it does sound like you're getting RF in your microphone. What is your mic setting right at the moment?
The mic setting is at...
He's overdriving it.
Bear with me. 70.
70. I tell you what, why don't you bring it down to about 2, bring it down to about 20, and get right up on top of it at 20, and let me listen to it, and we'll see if there's RF getting into there.
Okay, is this any better?
Fairly clean, so I think you're getting RF in your AF, Roger.
Roger, roger. How do I clean that up?
Well, are you running a ground system on your radio?
It has a counterposed wire that's run on the ground, which it does. It's not touching the ground, but it is run out to the shack where I have the radio set up.
Roger, did you happen to still have the hand mic that came with that radio?
Roger, roger. Got it right here.
All right, why don't you plug that in and bring your audio up to about a 5 and let me listen?
Bear with me for a minute.
Was that my Elmer in there?
Jim, while he's changing mic, this is K4JLB. Just want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I hope it was good for you.
Yes, sir, and you too, man. Fast recovery from yesterday.
Have a good evening there. Always good hearing you.
Roger, don't run off. You got some time? I want to speak at you when we find out what's going on here. And you were so loud, I thought you were my Elmer.
Yeah, this is KQ4KDX coming at you with a hand mic.
Yes, sir. Clean as a whistle. Now, I want you to take that hand mic to the corner of your lips and talk across it. Don't talk directly into it, but pull it to the corner of your lips so it touches your lips and talk across it and say the magic word audio, just as you would say a word in a Qso, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
Roger, roger. How's that?
All right, and now tell me what you like about your radio.
Well, it just seems to be a pretty good radio. It's got only 15 watt output, but with the amp, it seems to get me up to where I can at least push a clearer sound. I don't know that it gets it any further out, but at least it appears to be clearer. And getting this thing dialed in will make it a little bit better, just better contacts for the people on the other end.
Yes, sir. So you are clear there. What's your mic level at the moment?
$17.
Okay, take that up to about 25.
Okay, I got it set on 25 at this point. ALC seemed to have jumped up a little bit, so I will adjust that down. Well, I mean, that's where it's at. So, is this clear?
Yes, sir. Clear as a bell. So you are getting RF into your AF. There's a couple of ways you can do that. Double check your ground system. Sometimes you might have to run two grounds, spaced 6 foot or so apart. I use RG8 as the conductor from the grounds inside to the radio, and there's the idea that what you want is a common place to connect all your grounds inside. And I don't like the copper pipe routine there, because you do start dealing in wavelengths of space between those connections with that copper pipe. I am more inclined to put them all together at one place with a what's called a split bolt. And you can get a split bolt big enough to get that RG8 in there, and you can get probably 5 or 6 other grounds, and they all ground at that same place. Roger?
Roger. I have an 8-foot ground in the ground outside the shack, and then I've ran a 10-gauge wire up through the floor, and I have it attached to a brass bar where I can ground everything to it. Now, the amp does not have a grounding plate, so I have not grounded the amp per se. And the radio, I just ran the counterpose as Elecraft had shipped it. But I could, put up a ground that I could run to that grounding bar.
Yes, sir. Well, like I say, I think maybe if you really wanted to solve the problem, take two ground stakes, at least 8-10 feet apart, and then run one ground stake to the power amp, switcher, tuner, whatever you got there, and then the other ground to your radio, and run something. See, that number 10 is like a very small conductor, since RF runs on the outside of the wire. When you compare that little 10 with RG8 using the whole shield and everything, it's like a 1-inch copper pipe going to your ground stake. Roger?
Roger.
So if you do that, you'll be a lot better off. And then the final test is set your ALC, by doing audio, and bring the mic level up to where you're 2/3 on your ALC meter, and then take it all the way up. And if you don't go into oscillation, then you're not getting, probably not getting. In other words, if you're running a 5 when you're, normally, and then you've got that ground in there, and you turn that audio gain all the way up and don't get any feedback, enough RF in the AF to cause feedback, then you're in good shape. That's my test, is hit it with 10 dB over normal operating volume, and if it doesn't take off like a bird, I'm in good shape. Roger?
Well, I really appreciate all your help, and thank you for being out there and helping us guys out. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now, if you wanted to use that hand mic very much, and I would suggest that over the other mic until you really worked on your grounds, I would take my treble up about 3 clicks more than where it is, plus 3 clicks boost treble EQ from where you are. Roger?
Roger.
I think that would that hand mic doesn't have quite the articulation that the desk mic does, but it does feature less RF contamination than the other one. Roger.
Roger, Roger. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch your call sign.
Roger, the name is Jim. Juliet India Mike. Call is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That's KC9VKV. Roger, and this is the Qso-Vlog net, and we help folks set up their transmitters. Roger.
Well, I really appreciate it. And hope one day I get to the point where I can help somebody like you are. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, I think if you get those two grounds in there, and the point I found was I was getting RF in my AF, and I was using a single ground, and then it came to me that it didn't make much sense to take my power amp ground and my mic preamp ground to the same place. Here's a very, very low-level mic signal against KW. Joining the grounds together, did not make much sense. So I just split those two grounds apart and ran one ground for my high part, my PA and my antenna switcher and all that stuff, and then antenna tuner, and then another ground system for my radio and preamp. Roger.
Roger, Roger. Well, I will set that other. I actually got a second ground stake, so I'll run it in the ground. And now, do you bind the two of them together, or you just leave them as two separate grounds?
Two separate grounds, and use RG8 as the or something like that. A large coax, and you take the center conductor and the out ground and tie all those together and use a clamp right there on the outside, and then on the inside, like I say, there's this thing called a split bolt, and you put all of these wires minus the insulation into these split bolts. They just slip in there, and you'd have a nut that screws down on the split and ties all that stuff together. So you have a common ground there, Roger, and a common ground on the other high power stuff too.
Roger, Roger. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I would like to hear you again when with the desk mic after you get all that worked out. Roger.
Yeah, I can do that. You do this every Friday?
Yes, sir. 3:30 till 5 Friday afternoons. Roger.
Roger, Roger. Well, I appreciate all the help, and we'll get started on that this week, and hopefully we'll be back to you on Friday. And I'll bail out and let somebody else get in since we're getting close to the 5 o'clock hour. And thank you so much for your help, and appreciate everything you're doing.
Yes, sir. 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,800 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger, Roger. 73s, and this is Kilo Quebec 4 Kilo Delta X-ray out.
Roger, Roger, Joe. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 8, Uniform Alpha X-ray.
Alpha X-ray station. Give me your call sign again, slowly, phonetically.
Okay, you've talked to me before. The call is November 8. Uniform Alpha X-ray. We were having a frequency alignment issue in the microphone, condenser microphone question, and I corrected the microphone, and I think it's on frequency.
Roger, you're a little bit high on frequency, Roger.
Okay, well I can tune that when you come back. That's enough to do, because I'm almost right on now. It's a tough radio, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what's the name there?
The name is Mark. The name is Mark. You told me to take that microphone insulation collar and put it on the condenser microphone. I have done that. I've also changed the foam rubber. It's a softer, more absorbent foam rubber around it. And there's, of course, there's a shield in front on the microphone. The D104 has a padding in there already, so I don't have to worry about that windshield. Windshield we talked about. It should be very good.
Okay. What radio are you running, Mark?
FC 101.
Okay, so what you probably need to do is get a freak counter for that radio, and then you'll always know exactly where you are. Even if it wanders, you'll know exactly where it needs, and you would measure that on your transmit. Usually receive frequency follows transmit frequency, so when you transmit, you could just bring that onto a frequency, and then your receiver should follow. Roger?
Yeah, well, that's the question. Yeah, because you have to align the VFO for receive and transmit, and they're voltage, obviously, and that has been done now, and it's coming. It fluctuates a little bit when the radio gets warm, and I think it needs to be on the vent for 2 hours at least, warming up before you do anything with it. So that's the story. But at least now I can actually tune someone in. So that's the story. Now I can actually tune someone in and call them, and they can hear me.
Yes, sir. Well, with a freak counter, you don't need any warm up. I mean, you may have to play catch up as far as tuning your transmitter to the correct frequency, but you really can, because the default frequency prior to it wandering, you've got on your freak meter, and you know what it is, and you know what the frequency should be in your transmitter. So as it wanders, you just play catch up on the VFO onto the the freak meter. Use the freak meter as guide. Roger?
The freak meter. Use the freak meter as guide. Roger?
Yeah, I do have a frequency meter. Of course, it doesn't read on sideband because it needs a full straight audio transmission, a tone transmission. I can only put it onto the AM, and that would give me a readout.
Yeah, probably so. Or go to RTTY or something like that, where you just for a moment see full transmission power, and then bring your VFO down. But and the other way normally is that you can use your receiver to bring your VFO into frequency. When somebody starts sounding like Donald Duck, you know that you're going high, and when they sound like you're going low. Roger?
That you're going high, and when they sound like you're going low. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to put the AM just for a second, okay? I'm going to read what it says. Oh, sorry. 71185.6. 71185.6 is what the frequency reads.
Okay, so the actual transmission that you made seemed to be about 1 kc off my operating frequency. I could hear a 1 kc tone. So I would go up 1 kc or down 1 kc, Roger?
So I would go up 1 kc or down 1 kc, Roger?
Yeah, well, I can turn the dial when you come back. Which is, let's see, which way? Gotta go down. If they go down. Yeah, okay. I can do that.
Yeah, just a little bit more down.
Yeah, just a little bit more down.
Okay, you were going in the right direction, and then it started going up again, so I don't know exactly what happened. You were going in the right direction, though.
I don't know exactly what happened. You were going in the right direction, though.
Yeah, I brought it back down to your voice.
Roger. Well, there's some disconnect between, your receive frequency and your transmit frequency, because on your transmit frequency you sound high. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe put the radio in the shop, Roger.
Maybe put the radio in the shop, Roger. Was it 3 kcs or 5 kcs?
Sounds like 1 KC and we doubled a little bit there.
Sounds like 1 KC and we doubled a little bit there.
Yeah, like I said, a sideband does not transmit in the same frequency as AM does because you have the upper and the lower, which is a subtraction and addition. And therefore we have, I think it's 3 kilohertz or 3 megahertz, 3 kilohertz difference or something.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. You know, my perception would be to adjust the receiver, well, the VFO, to where the receive audio sounds right, and then you know, see what the transmit is. That would be the only thing I would know. So, you know, it'd be like you know, following an old Drake or something like that. You would just have to play catch up with your VFO to keep the audio from sounding like Donald Duck, Roger.
VFO to keep the audio from sounding like Donald Duck, Roger.
Oh, yeah, Roger. Okay, well, I'll let you go. I tormented you long enough. And this is twice in a row now that I've tormented. I promise I won't call you again. We'll just let it go. Like I said, I don't have any good test equipment. It's very difficult. I have to go strictly by voltage and what I have for a frequency counter. But then I have to...
Frequencies in use, please.
Microphone. So, I appreciate
Frequencies in use, please.
To listen to me. And did the microphone clean up a little bit though? I did those modifications you requested.
Gosh, we're getting a little QRMing going on there, but the microphone could use a little more top-end treble EQ. That's what I would do. So, you know, when a radio's off frequency, it's really tough to talk about EQ, for me anyway, because the frequencies are not tonality correct to begin with. So, but I would say probably a little more top-end EQ would help your intelligibility, even at you know, an off-frequency situation. So. Let me say 73 there, Mark, and maybe get that radio in the shop and let somebody tweak it up, and then you'll enjoy that radio, Roger.
Tweak it up, and then you'll enjoy that radio, Roger.
Okay, Roger. I put the processor in, too. All right, 7-3. I know the processor does kick it up a bit. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. November 8th, Uniform Alpha X-ray, 7-3.
Roger, Mark, give me that frequency, that call sign one more again, slowly, phonetically.
Mark, give me that frequency, that call sign one more again, slowly, phonetically.
Okay, it's November 8th, Uniform America X-ray. November 8th, Uniform America X-ray.
Uniform America X-ray, Roger, Roger. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And if you want to hear your radio, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,800 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73 there, Mark, and we'll, you know, if you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
7-3.
Station calling, come back and try it again.
Station calling, come back and try it again.
This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. My name is Jim, and this is the Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. November 3, Uniform India, Quebec.
India, Quebec, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
India, Quebec, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign. November 3, Uniform India, Quebec. The name is Bob.
Uniform India, Quebec, Roger, Bob. And what's your location, sir?
India, Quebec, Roger, Bob. And what's your location, sir?
My QTH is Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Roger, and what radio are you running?
Roger, and what radio are you running?
I am running a Swan 350.
Oh boy, man, that radio sounds like it's dead on frequency.
Oh boy, man, that radio sounds like it's dead on frequency.
I have had the assistance of a little 21st century frequency counter. I added to it. Seems to work very well. It was a $12 addition to bring the radio into the 21st century. Over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So all you have to do now is touch up as you go along, right?
Yes, sir. So all you have to do now is touch up as you go along, right?
Yeah, and actually, it's been on for about 20 minutes now, and it's staying within about 50 hertz right now of where I sat it about 10 minutes ago. Over.
Yes, sir. Now, you can read that as you're transmitting in sideband. Is that a Roger?
You can read that as you're transmitting in sideband. Is that a Roger?
Yes, that's correct. Although my antenna, I'm just using I'm running 200 watts into a attic dipole, and it's driving the readout crazy as I transmit. But in receive, it's performing quite well.
So you're reading your receive VFO frequency, is that correct?
So you're reading your receive VFO frequency, is that correct?
I am monitored. Yes, I patched the meter on the to the meter on the VFO's way to the VFO amplifier. It's got plenty of output. Doesn't seem to drag down the VFO at all. And the readout has a IF offset in it. And as per advertised on YouTube, on eBay, and it does work quite well. It's a little Chinese. You can see them anywhere on YouTube. It's an 8-digit display, and it's quite stable, and it interprets the frequency based on the IF that I fed into it.
Roger, Roger. Well, it's really the closest one, 350 that I've ever heard, Roger.
The closest one, 350 that I've ever heard, Roger.
Oh, thank you. This is just a flea market rig I bought for about $50 several years ago. I have other units too, other Swans. I kind of like the Swans because of the single conversion receiver and transmitter in it, and it's easily adaptable, and you can tap into it with a lot less complications. And with my diminishing ability to solder, it seems to lend itself quite well to my fun.
Yes, sir. You know, I have had a difficulty in soldering recently, and I blame the solder. I don't think the solder is as good as it used to be, Roger.
I blame the solder. I don't think the solder is as good as it used to be, Roger.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I was a kid, I built a lot of Heath kits and done a lot of repairs on things, and I had no trouble. For some reason now, I've been using this fancy Unger station I got from work, and I just can't seem to do the job that well. The heat doesn't seem to transfer, or the solder doesn't flow. I don't know. I did buy some new stuff and it works better, but I seem to have lost some kind of touch, or some factor's been changed somewhere. Over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, some things are eyesight troubling because, the new printed circuit boards are just, they're little blobs on the PC board from here to there, and you don't even know what they are. They're just little blobs on the PC board, which really makes it interesting, Roger.
They're just little blobs on the PC board, which really makes it interesting, Roger.
Yeah. In fact, I have an old hot water, what is it? Hot water 21.
Heathkit that I built, but it was a big PC. It was a big, robust PC board. And the small stuff, I just don't even attempt to work on or fix anymore because I'm just going to destroy it. I really am. So I'm just staying old school. And between my abilities and I'm 72 years old, I've always had eye problems, but my depth perception is getting very bad, and I know when I'm beat, so I'm just handling what I can. And the Swan, there's even parts of the Swan like the VFO chamber where there's a little fine coax in there. I don't get near. Hopefully I won't have to. But it's about the state I'm in right now. Over.
Yes, sir. Now, I've been looking at some of these new eyeglasses. They have little adjustments, focus adjustments on the side of each eye on the lens. And I've been thinking about a pair of those and you can, I'm assuming with those that you can pick your point of focus. Wherever it might be, maybe 18 inches, maybe 2 feet, 2.5 feet, wherever you need to see, you can take these little trimmers on these glasses and trim, each eye separate. Even if you have discrepancies between eye to eye, you can adjust each one for its focal length at whatever length you need, Roger. I've been thinking about getting a pair of those.
Whatever length you need, Roger. I've been thinking about getting a pair of those.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was just at I have a serious eye condition. I can't even see out my left eye. But, I was looking at, since I've had cataract surgery years ago, there's only a fixed focus. There's no natural ability for the lens to focus anymore. So you're stuck at different focal lengths. And I was looking into those adjustable ones, too. My ophthalmologist office doesn't carry them anymore, so I might have to go to eBay and try. Maybe there's some things on YouTube where people are trying them, but I've been seriously thinking about them myself. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, there are some things you can do, little tricks like if you blink your eyes 5 or 6 times real quick, you can see, it seems to me that you can see focus a lot better than just looking at it over a period of time. Just blink your eyes 5 or 6 times and then look at it again, and it seems sharper to me. I'm not sure why that is, but and then I notice that sometimes I can take my glasses and move them out about 2 inches further towards the object than off my face, and things I can read are in focus. So that means that there's just a focal point. So maybe those trimmer glasses might be just the thing. It'd be so nice to, it gets in a whole realm of things, like these jerks that think that a light gray against white is a really neat font. And they write all this stuff light gray against white. They never heard about contrast ratios, obviously.
They never heard about contrast ratios, obviously.
I was watching a movie trying to read dubbed in, subtitles against a white background, and it was driving me crazy.
Well, yes, sir. That is called usually like a black background drop shadow against the word, and that's what when I was doing video, I always used drop shadow, black drop shadow beside the word, so you could dig it out a lot better, even in a bright situation. These guys just use white against whatever happens to be, so when you put white against sunlight white, you can't read it.
When you put white against sunlight white, you can't read it.
Yeah, I was watching, I believe it was the Battle of Britain. And I'm writing this, the Germans and subtitles, and every time I went against a uniform, I lost part of the movie. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, gosh, Bob, like I said, that's Swan really sounds good. You say you got a bunch of those?
Swan really sounds good. And you say you got a bunch of those?
Yeah, I've got 4 350s. I have a 500, a 500C, and a 500CX. Over.
Roger, Roger. So you're a Swan collector.
Roger, Roger. So you're a Swan collector.
Well, actually, I'm just cheap.
Yeah, but that's a... It does not have to be expensive to be a great radio, Roger.
It does not have to be expensive to be a great radio, Roger.
Apparently not. Although ham radio is so much cheaper than it used to be. You look at a 1960s QST magazine, you had to be well-heeled to buy ham equipment. Today, even in the modern stuff, it's for what you get, it's tremendously economical. Over.
Well, yeah, but it only took me 80 years to get a 7300.
Took me 80 years to get a 7300.
I don't think I'll ever reach a 7300.
Well, you'd be amazed. It depends on the options, you know.
Be amazed. It depends on the options, you know.
I can't handle many options. By the way, I missed your call. Could you repeat that, please?
Roger, Roger. The call is KC9VKV, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and we are recording this. We've been recording since 3:30. So if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to our Qso-Vlog net, and this recording will be number 1 in a series of 2800, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
2800, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
It's a pleasure talking to you, sir. KC9VKV, N3UIQ73. Wish you all the best from now on.
Roger, Roger, Bob. 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Kilowatt 4, Hotel Echo Whiskey.
Well, somebody had a bad problem there. Hotel Whiskey, Hotel Echo Whiskey, is that correct?
Hotel Whiskey, Hotel Echo Whiskey, is that correct? Roger, Roger. K4HEW, Hotel Echo Whiskey.
Roger, Roger, and what's the name there?
Roger, Roger, and what's the name there? Roger, the name is Joe, Juliet,
Roger, Joe, why don't you tell me about your antenna system? Let me tune around for a minute, see if I can find the best path for us.
Oh, sure. This is K4HEW. We live in Raleigh, just outside of Raleigh in Clayton, North Carolina. I have a quarter wave vertical. The Eagle 1 quarter wave 40-meter vertical mounted on the rear ladder on my motorhome, which is our home that we live in full time. So I'm itinerant when we need to be. We live on wheels. How's that?
Roger, Roger. Well, gosh, Joe, somebody has decided to deliberately QRM us. I don't know why, but, they do. But, Joe, you sounded really good on my local antenna. You're about 20 over, Roger.
Oh, Roger, Roger. The last time I spoke with you, we did some tuning and adjusting, and you might recall I had been using a wireless headset, the Plantronic W7. I stopped using it some time ago as it's getting feedback somewhere and just kicks itself off. So I put that away and I'm just using the stock microphone on my 7300, Roger.
Roger, well, your tonality is just fine. Your audio curve is just fine. Got some nice bottom end, not real pronounced, but a lot there. And the top end, I might go for a couple of clicks of boost on your treble EQ, Roger.
Well, let's see. As I believe we set it back then, and it still is. The top end is a +3, and the bottom end is a +1. and bandwidth is the 1 to 2900. Roger.
Yes, sir. Good. So I would go, let's see here. What radio is that you're running?
That's the ICOM 7300.
Yes, sir. So I'd max out my top end at +5 treble EQ, +5 treble EQ, Roger.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Let me try to do that. Okay, that is now at a +5 on the top end, and the bottom end is a +1. How do we sound?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your articulation aspect is much better with that increase in treble EQ, and that radio is just sounding beautiful. You might check your ALC with mic gain in hand. Look at your ALC meter as you say the word audio. Interested in the first part of that word, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger.
Well, let's see. Audio. We're at about half scale right now.
Yes, sir. You want to be just to the right of half scale, Roger.
Oh, Roger. My mic gain right now is at 45% with a compression of 1.
Roger. I would bring that compression up to a 3. 3 is something that you'll never hear on the air, but it's helps us get our 3 dB dynamic range. So I'd move the compression to 3, and look again at your ALC meter as you say the word audio, Roger.
Audio. Yeah, it's staying right there at mid scale.
Somebody keeps interfering deliberately, QRMing us. This frequency is in use. So let's see. Tell me about your what you like about your 7300.
Well, I'll tell you what I like about it. I turn it on and work. Don't have a whole lot to adjust on it, and it is able to tune my antenna, fine-tune it down to a flat 1-to-1. And I can even transmit quite easily on 20 meters with this 40-meter quarter wave vertical. The tuner inside the 7300 will accomplish that for me. And so I'm real pleased with that, Roger.
Roger, got a good recording for you, Joe. That radio really sounding just beautiful. And if you go to YouTube, do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. And it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2800. And I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Oh, Roger, Jim. I sure appreciate your help as usual. And I enjoy listening to the dialogue with other hams out there and what you do to help them as well. Hope you had a great holiday, and I'll turn it back your way. 73's KC9VKV from K4HEW.
Roger, Joe, just curious, do you have ever any power problems? I'm assuming you're boondocking, is that correct?
Oh, we're actually in an RV park where we have power from the pedestal. 120-volt power, so I run it off their power, but I've never had any power issues so far.
Roger. Do you have any RF leakage around? How much power are you running there?
Well, it's just 100 watts. I don't have an RF amplifier, but funny you should say that. I occasionally have heard when the SWR slips off a little bit, I can hear my audio come through the speakers inside the motorhome and get kind of scratchy, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing something here, I need to retune. Of course, the antenna is right on the back of the motorhome, about 30 feet behind me.
Yes, sir, doing a beautiful job for 100 watts, just beautiful. I have some problems myself with things. I have to take my telephone off the hook because I don't want to be disturbed, and I put it in my garbage can.
Well, I did try to tune this radio to an 80-meter frequency, and I had some issues with that. The radio attempted to tune it, but the SWR, I think, was off scale. My dishwasher in here started blinking, and the various LEDs inside the coach started blinking at me, and I could hear it through the speakers. So probably not a recommended band to use with this antenna, Roger.
Roger, I recall at one time trying to run my 80-meter antenna on 40 meters, and that was before I went to a resonant tuned dipole antenna for 40. I was trying to make my 80 work, and it would work, but my antenna tuner, which is MFJ 3KW, it got very, very hot. I could smell it hot. I opened it up. I could see a lot of solder connections had gone gray, indicating a lot of heat. And I'm just thinking, you know, that's when I decided I was going to go to a resonant tuned dipole antenna and do away with the tuner, you know, because I'd rather have all that heat up in the air, you know, radiating. Roger?
Roger that. That's the way to go. I'm with you. Get some I have a fan dipole at home where we used to live. It's in storage now, but it is set up for 15, 20, 40, and 80 fan dipole, and that has worked well in the past. So happy that you were able to help me this afternoon, Jim. 73's K4HEW, clear in 73.
Roger, Joe. 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and I'm getting stuff coming up about 1 KC on one side or the other. I don't know exactly why it is. We've been on the air for maybe an hour and a half, so maybe it's time to get out of here and go fishing. So, Joe, 73, sir, and if you want to hear again that audio, go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, and that'll take you to this recording, and it'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2800, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger. We'll find. We need to pray for that brain donor out there. He doesn't understand what he's doing. So, Jim, have a fine one, and have a great weekend. K4HEW.
Roger, sir, 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. It is 5 o'clock. We got to get out of here. I see a dead fly by the clock on the wall. And so since 3:30 we've been recording, and if you've enjoyed the broadcast and participated, want to hear your audio, go to YouTube, do a call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. Will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So without further ado, let's get out of here. This is KC9VKV returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.